An athlete runs 400 meters race in 25 seconds. His speed is A 16 ms, B 37 ms, C 42 ms, D 45 ms. The correct answer is 16 ms. A man riding his bicycle covers 150 meters in 25 seconds. What is his speed in kilometer per hour? A 21.6 kilometers per hour, B 23.3 kilometers per hour, C 25.7 kilometers per hour, D 26.9 kilometers per hour. The correct answer is 21.6 kilometers per hour. A student walks from his house at 2.5 kilometers per hour and reaches his school late by 6 minutes. Next day, he increases his speed by 1 km/h and reaches 6 minutes before school time. How far is the school from his house? A 3/5 kilometers, B 5.3 kilometer, C 7.3 kilometer, D 7.4 kilometer. The correct answer is 7.4 kilometer. A and B start simultaneously from a certain point in north and south directions on motorcycles. The speed of A is 72 km/h and that of B is 60 km/h. What is the distance between A and B after 10 minutes? A 22 kilometers, B 25 kilometers, C 27 kilometers, D 31 kilometers. The correct answer is 22 kilometers. A constable is 160 m behind a thief. The constable runs 20 m and the thief 12 m in a minute. In what time will the constable catch the thief? A 20 minutes, B 23 minutes, C 26 minutes, D 29 minutes. The correct answer is 20 minutes. A walks at a uniform rate of 5 kilometers an hour and 5 hours after his start. B cycles after him at the uniform rate of 10 kilometers an hour. How far from the starting point will B catch A? A 39 kilometer, B 42 kilometer, C 47 kilometer, D 50 kilometer. The correct answer is 50 kilometer. By walking at a half of his usual speed, a man reaches his office 10 minutes later than ususal. His usual time is A 8 minute, B 10 minute, C 13 minute, D 15 minute. The correct answer is 10 minute. A takes 3 hours more than B to walk D kilometer. If A doubles his speed, then he can make it in 2 hours less than B. How much time does B required for walking D kilometer? A 5 hr, B 6 hr, C 7 hr, D 9 hr. The correct answer is 7 hr. If a student walks from his house to school at 4 km/h, he is late 20 minutes. However, if he walks at 5 km/h, he is late by 5 minutes only. The distance of his school from his house is A 5 kilometers, B 6 kilometers, C 8 kilometers, D 9 kilometers. The correct answer is 5 kilometers. Bipul covers a distance by walking for 5 hours. While returning, his speed decreases by 1 km/h and he takes 10 hours to cover the same distance. What was his speed in return journey? A 0.5 km/h, B 1 km/h, C 1.5 km/h, D 2 km/h. The correct answer is 1 km/h. A car completes a certain journey in 8 hours. It covers half of the distance at 30 km/h and the rest at 50 km/h. The length of the journey is A 250 kilometers, B 265 kilometers. C 280 kilometers. D 300 kilometers. The correct answer is 300 kilometers. A man walking at 3 km/h crosses a square field diagonally in 4 minutes. The area of the field is A 15,000 m2, B 17,000 m2, C 20,000 m2, D 25,000 m2. The correct answer is 20,000 m2. Convert 60 km/h into msec. A 15 msec, B 1623 msec, C 16 msec, D 17 msec. The correct answer is 1623 msec. Convert 20 msec into km/h. A 55 km/h, B 59 km/h, C 63 km/h, D 72 km/h. The correct answer is 72 km/h. A man walks from his house to the railway station. If he walks at 6 km/h, he misses a train by 6 minutes. However, if he walks at 7 km/h, he reaches the station 4 minutes before the departure of the train. Find the distance covered by him to reach the station. A 7 km, B 9 km, C 10 km, D 12 km. The correct answer is 7 km. A man covers a certain distance by walk at 6 km/h and returns back to the starting point riding on scooter at 50 km/h. Find his average speed of the whole journey. A 32.48 km/h, B 49.12 km/h, C 54.54 km/h, D 59.65 km/h. The correct answer is 54.54 km/h. A goods train leaves a station at a certain time and at a fixed speed. After 6 hours, an express train leaves the same station and moves in the same direction at a uniform speed of 90 km/h. This train catches up the goods train in 4 hours. Find the speed of the goods train. A 29 km/h, B 32 km/h, C 36 km/h, D 41 km/h. The correct answer is 36 km/h. The ratio between the speeds of two trains is 4:6. If the first train runs 280 km in 4 hours, the speed of the second train is A 85 km/h, B 89 km/h, C 98 km/h, D 105 km/h. The correct answer is 105 km/h. Excluding stoppages, the speed of a bus is 50 km/h and including stoppages, it is 40 km/h. For how many minutes does the bus stop per hour? A 12 min, B 16 min, C 18 min, D 21 min. The correct answer is 12 min. X and Y are two stations 600 km apart. A train starts from X and moves towards Y at a speed 30 km/h. Another train starts from Y at the same time and moves towards X at 40 km/h. How far from X will they cross each other? A 257.11 km, B 266.22 km, C 312.35 km, D 323.39 km. The correct answer is 257.11 km. By how much % must a motorist increases his speed in order to reduce the time by 10%, taken to cover a certain distance? A 10/19%, B 11/19%, C 1349%, D 1459%. The correct answer is 11/19%. A car covers 4 successive 2 km stretches at 20 km/h, 30 km/h, 40 km/h and 60 km/km respectively. Its average speed over this distance is A 22 km/h, B 25 km/h, C 29 km/h, D 32 km/h. The correct answer is 32 km/h. A car travels a distance of 840 km at a uniform speed. If the speed of the car is 10 km/h more, it takes 2 hours less to cover the same distance. The original speed of the car was A 53 km/h, B 57 km/h, C 60 km/h, D 63 km/h. The correct answer is 60 km/h. The ratio between the rates of walking of X and Y is 3:4. If the time taken by X to cover a certain distance is 36 minutes, the time taken by Y to cover the certain distance is A 25 minutes, B 27 minutes, C 32 minutes, D 35 minutes. The correct answer is 27 minutes. A plane left 30 minutes later than the scheduled time, and in order to reach the destination 1,500 kilometers away in time, it had to increase the speed by 250 km/h from the usual speed. Its ususal speed is A 478 km/h, B 550 km/h, C 600 km/h, D 750 km/h. The correct answer is 750 km/h. Two cars starts at the same time from one point and move along two roads at right angles to each other. Their speeds are 18 km/h and 36 km/h respectively. After 10 seconds the distance between them will be A 48 v5 m, B 50 v5 m, C 53 v5 m, D 55 v5 m. The correct answer is 50 v5 m. A man on tour travels first 150 kilometers at 55 km/h and the next 150 kilometers at 65 km/h. The average speed of the whole journey is A 57.48 km/h, B 57.82 km/h, C 58.12 km/h, D 59.58 km/h. The correct answer is 59.58 km/h. Ram has to cover 8 kilometers in 45 minutes. If he covers one half of the distance in first march RD of time, what should be his speed to cover the remaining distance in the remaining time? A 6 km/h, B 7 km/h, C 8 km/h, D 9 km/h. The correct answer is 8 km/h. In what time can Naren cover a distance of 500 m, if he runs at a speed of 25 km/h? A 11:05 minutes, B 21:03 minutes, C 21:05 minutes, D 31:05 minutes. The correct answer is 11:05 minutes. The distance between two stations A and B is 200 kilometers. A train leaves A towards B at 80 km/h. After half an hour, Another train leaves B towards A at 100 km/h. The distance of the point where the two trains meet from A is A 111.11 km, B 112.22 km, C 112.25 km, D 115.55 km. The correct answer is 111.11 km. Hari can run 200 m in 54 seconds and Jadu in 60 seconds. Hari beats Jadu by A 15 m, B 18 m, C 20 m, D 23 m. The correct answer is 20 m. In a 1000 m race, the ratio of the speeds of A and B is 2:3. A has a start of 600 m. A wins by A 320 m, B 325 m, C 350 m, D 400 m. The correct answer is 400 m. In a 100 m race, A can give B 10 m and C 37 m. In the same race, B can give C A 30 m, B 35 m, C 38 m, D 40 m. The correct answer is 30 m. X and Y take part in a 100 m race. X runs at 5 km/h. X gives Y a start of 10 m and still beats him by 8 seconds. Y's speed is A 3.06 km/h, B 3.09 km/h, C 4.05 km/h, D 4.07 km/h. The correct answer is 4.05 km/h. A can run 20 m while B runs 25 m. In a 2 km race, B beats A by A 375 m, B 385 m, C 400 m, D 425 m. The correct answer is 400 m.